Hello and welcome to this video from Sorare Assist. Want to know which players are going to get you those all-important points at a budget price? Then make sure you stick around, because I've been scouting every region and I'll be sharing my findings in this video today. Before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, then welcome. If you're looking for the Sorare tutorials, scouting and other Sorare content, then you're in the right place. If you found this video useful, then please push that like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel by pushing that big red button below and ping that notification bell to be the first to be alerted about any new content. If you haven't signed up to Sorare yet, then what are you waiting for? Get signed up using the link below to get a free rare card and 10 common cards. If you have any questions or thoughts about today's videos, then please drop them in the comments below. Right, now that's out of the way, let's get stuck into today's content. So in this video series, I'll be highlighting budget options in every region over a number of weeks. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll be highlighting players in regions and also in leagues as well in each videos, depending on how many budget options I've come up with in each category. All these players are around or below £100 at the time of recording. Some are as low as £30 and at most £150 for maybe strikers or more elite players. These players are all good enough to hit the ETH thresholds in most weeks, even if you're using a common keeper. These selections also tie in with my video on building a Sorare team from zero to hero, where the principle was to use 4 rare cards and a common keeper to get those ETH thresholds most weeks. A link is in the description below if you do want to watch that. So due to this, I won't be highlighting goalkeepers on this video series, because if there's a slight chance a goalkeeper will play, their price is going to be high. There's no such thing as a budget keeper really in today's market for a quality starting goalkeeper. But with the players highlighted, you should be able to use a decent common keeper and still at those ETH thresholds, and then potentially save up with the prize that you win for your first rare keeper. If you already have a rare keeper, that's even better. So the idea is that these players will be able to get you around 50 points on average amongst your 4 outfield players. This will get you 200 points, plus add on top of that the percentage bonuses of your cards and your common keeper score, of course, and there's a high chance you could also reach the higher threshold payout. Now I bet you're thinking that it's hard for your players to score 50 every week. Well, they don't have to. If one player scores 70, then one of your other players can be excused for scoring 30 points, as that's still an average of 50 points between 2 players. The players highlighted have all the right statistics and history of good scores to hit those thresholds. They're also expected to start most games or are already seeing regular game times for the club. And the good thing is, they're available at a budget price. I'm highlighting their scoring history and looking at their prices on the market at the time of recording. Right, let's get into the first selection then. So today I'm going to be concentrating on Turkish League players and also on the Netherlands players as well. I'm starting with defenders, then going on to midfielders, then forwards. So let's have a look at the first selection then. So first up, I've gone for Maximilian Wittig of Vitesse. So Vitesse is 25-year-old defender. Scores-wise, as you can see, he's got some brilliant scores here. Very, very high scores. Very few below the 50 mark, which is absolutely brilliant. So looking at his price then on the market. So the time of recording, of course. Let's have a look at his price. So he's going for around 120 there, but it looks a bit steep to be fair. But this one doesn't look too bad, £84. You probably put a bid in and get a much lower price than that. Maybe £60 to £70 you may be looking at. But when the auctions come up on the primary market for the new cards that are due to come out, I would say you'd potentially be able to get him even maybe cheaper than that. So it does look a fantastic option. So another defender I like the look of is Caner Erkin. In fact, he's probably one of the best defenders, if not the best defender, in the Challenger Europe division. He is 32 now. Don't let that put you off. He is obviously still at Fenerbahce, and he is due to be a first team player. Now look at these scores, absolutely brilliant. He's got 400s there, some brilliant high numbers. Very, very consistent player, this guy. So in terms of price, let's have a look. Price wise is around £100, but I think that is very good. As I say, he's probably one of the best defenders in terms of scoring in the Challenger Europe division. Okay, so he is a very, very good player. It's probably the age that makes his price a little bit lower, but he is only 32. That's not that old really in footballing terms. He's an attacking fullback as well, which shows his fitness even at 32. Now, playing for a top side of Fenerbahce as well, he is likely to get plenty of clean sheets, which also adds to his scores as well. So it looks a fantastic option. Let's have a look at the next guy, and that is Andre Almeida. Now, this guy has been pretty much injured all the time since, all last season pretty much. But he is back now, I believe, to full fitness. So he is expected to get a lot more minutes for Benfica, potentially this season, I would say. And as you can see, when he wasn't injured, he was playing consistently and getting some fantastic scores there. So he's a bit of an under the radar pick because he is obviously been injured. But looking at the price for this player, you can get him for potentially £60 here, look, if you put a bid in. And on the primary market as well, if no one catches on that it might potentially be a starter for Benfica and the quality he possesses, you might be able to get him for maybe £50 for a defender in the top side. That looks an absolute bargain. So next up, we've gone for Nazim Sangara of Fenerbahce as well. 27-year-old defender as well. This one plays as a defender. Looking at the scores, as you can see, he's got some brilliant scores. Looks a really, really top player. And only 27. So he's a looking consistent performer, this guy. In terms of the prices that you can pick this guy up for on the market, there's one here for 89, another one 53 here. So you can probably put a bid in this one here. Maybe get him for around £40, which for a player in a top side is absolutely brilliant. I mean, you can't go wrong with that, really, can you? So let's have a look at the next player then. We've got Zena Abayaraski of... he actually plays for Başakşehir now in the Turkish Super League, which is obviously a league covered by Sorare still, so don't worry about that. He's 31-year-old, he did play for Galatasaray, but he has recently transferred to Başakşehir, as you can see. And towards the end of the season, he was playing some games as well, as you can see here. So he obviously wasn't a first-team starter for Galatasaray, but I expect him to be a first-team starter for his new team. So in terms of the scores then, his price, on Sorare, let's have a look. So he's going for around £70 odd, £50 here, £50, £50 here. So you could probably pick him up for around £40. That looks absolutely brilliant bargain there. As I say, he does play for his new team now, Başakşehir, which isn't currently an official club of Sorare yet, but the league is covered by Sorare, the Super League, Turkish Super League. So it's still going to be applicable for getting those points. And as I say, when he is playing, as you've seen here towards the end of last season, he is getting some very good scores. So I expect him to be a consistent starter in his new club there. So another defender we've gone for this time in the Netherlands division, plays for FC Twente, and that is Smal. Only 23. As you can see, when he is playing some games, he's doing some, showing some fantastic scores there. Let's have a look at his price on the market. So this guy is a bit of a youngster. He may not be a first team regular as of yet, but he is doing, he is getting the occasional appearance. But for a young player who's eligible for the under-23 division as well, you could probably buy this guy very cheap, as you can see here, maybe around £30 you'd be able to pick him up for. So if he does get into the team and starts getting more regular minutes, he could be an absolute bargain. So the next player we've gone for is Omar Bayram of Galatasaray. Another defender, Turkish league this time. He's from his scores, as you can see, he's got some fantastic scores here, especially in this period here where he got consistently high numbers, and I wouldn't put it past him getting these high numbers again, especially playing for a top club like Galatasaray, who are obviously going to get a lot of clean sheets. So let's have a look at the price that we're looking for this guy then on the Sorare market. So there's one here for £44, £41 here. That looks absolutely brilliant. So if you're on a budget, this guy is one of the guys that you want to go for. You'll probably pick him up for around £30. And when the new auctions come out for the new cards, who knows what you could get him for? £20, £30 maybe on the auctions. Looks an absolute steal at that price. So next up on the shortlist is the first midfielder today, and that is Jose Sousa. 36, but don't let that put you off. He's expected to be a first team player again for Fenerbahce this upcoming season, and as you can see, his numbers speak for himself. These scores are absolutely brilliant. So he's consistently getting some very, very good scores for Fenerbahce. In terms of the prices, so this is the midfielder now. Obviously, the midfielders tend to be more expensive than defenders, but you can still pick this guy up for a bargain price, as you can see by the score prices here. £44 here, £43 here. So if you're lucky, you might be able to pick him up for £25. For a defender and a midfielder in the top side, that looks absolutely brilliant. So the next midfielder we've gone for is Emre Akbaba of Galatasaray, 28-year-old. As you can see, he's got some good high numbers here, some other lower scores, but generally he's getting some decent scores, and he's also getting those high peak scores as well, which is what we want to see from a Sorare player in our SO5 teams. So let's have a look what sort of price he's going for then. So bearing in mind this is a top player in a top side. So he's going for 73 here. There's a price there, 73. A few 90s. So you might be able to pick this guy up for, especially on maybe a cheeky bid on this one here, for around £50 to £60, which I think looks absolutely brilliant for a midfielder in a top side. So the next player we've gone for is Emre Klilik of Galatasaray again. 26-year-old midfielder. In terms of his scores, as you can see, he's got some brilliant scores. Here, look. Absolutely brilliant. So he's getting some consistently good average numbers and also capable of hitting these higher scores as well. So it looks brilliant option there. So price-wise, let's have a look what we're talking there. For a guy who's only 26, plays for a top side, and you can pick him up for probably around £50. So it looks absolute bargain there. Brilliant. Looks an absolute bargain. So another midfielder I've gone for is Adel Tarabat. This time in the Portuguese League. Plays for Benfica. 32-year-old. As you can see from his scores, he's capable of some very, very good scores. Let's have a look at his price then on Sorare. Again, just to remind you, he plays for the top side. He is 32, so that maybe puts his price down a bit. But there's one available here for £47, which looks an absolute steal from Powell Trader. So that looks an absolute bargain there. So the next player I've gone for is a player that some people may recognise the name. He has recently left Chelsea. I know he's not had many games for them, but that is because he has been injured for a number of, years in fact. As you can see here, did not play, loads of did not plays. Then he's come back here, getting the odd game. And as you can see here, he's actually returned to the, he's getting a few more minutes here and had a few games towards the end of the season for his club, which is now PSV. So he's actually turned back to PSV just before the end of last season, where he's, as you can see, is starting to get some minutes. Now he's nearly back to full fitness. I expect with the new season approaching, he is going to be back to full fitness. So this one is it's really one that's maybe a gamble because of his injury issues, but it does look like he's back to full fitness now, and if he can stay away from injuries, it does look a fantastic option. I'm just going to go over to SofaScore, just to show you his stats when he was he was playing. So if we just go back here, this is obviously when he was injured and out of the team. But as you can see here, there's a big gap. So this is when he was injured for a number of years, look. But this is when he played for PSV before he transferred to Chelsea. Okay, now look at these ratings on SofaScore that he was getting. He was getting some very good ratings on SofaScore, which is obviously what attracted him to Chelsea. But if we just look at some of the numbers that he was getting in terms of passes and that sort of thing, look at this. They're absolutely brilliant. High number of passes, key passes, that sort of thing, crosses as well. But his accuracy was good, and his goal threat was another very, very good highlight of Van Ginkel. So he does look a fantastic player. And if we look at the more recent appearances that he's had as well, so the last couple of games in the Netherlands division for PSV, he played 90 minutes, and he's shown the sort of numbers that he was showing in 2018, look, which is fantastic considering the length of time he's been out. And his goal threat is still there as well. So he could be a very, very good player here. And I would expect if he does return to this sort of form, that he's going to be a very sought after player. So let's have a look at his price then, currently on the market. So as you can see, you can pick this guy up for around £100, which is absolutely brilliant because, like I say, if he does return to the form he was in before his big injury layoff, this guy could be up there with the highest scoring players in the Challenger Europe division, I would say. And you could probably pick him up for around £80 there. And with the new auctions coming up, you could maybe even get him even lower than that. So it does look a fantastic option, but there is the injury concerns to consider there. So next up then, I've gone for Jordi Clasie of AZ Alkmaar. He's 30-year-old, another guy who's actually been injured recently, as you can see. But when he is playing consistently, he's getting some very good numbers, as it's displayed here from his recent return with 100 points, and some very good numbers here as well towards the end of the season after his injury layoff. So in terms of prices then, so again, this is a top player playing at a top club in the Netherlands, and you can get this guy for around £67, £70, which is absolutely brilliant, and that's without even putting an offer in. So if you wanted to put an offer in this guy, you could probably maybe pick him up for £40 to £50 maybe. So it does look a fantastic option, and at the top side as well, it does look a steal. So the next player I've gone for is Lasse Schöne, 35-year-old, and plays for NEC in the Netherlands division. But as you can see, he's got some fantastic scores here. He's expected to be playing a lot of game time for NEC in the upcoming season. He had a bit of a layoff here. I think this was due to injury. But as you can see from his scores, he is a very good player on Sorare. So let's have a look at his price then. I expect because of his age, he's probably going to be lower. As you can see, you can pick him for 40 quid. So you should be able to pick this player up for £20-30. That is absolutely brilliant. For a midfielder who's getting these type of scores, he could be an absolute steal. So the next player I've gone for is 24-year-old Lundqvist of Groningen. Again, this is in the Netherlands division. As you can see, he's got some good scores there and some other generally good average scores as well. So it does look another fantastic option. Let's have a look at his prices then on Sorare. So you can probably pick this guy up for around £60 on an offer, I'd say, which looks absolute bargain. Again, for a side that is a decent side in the Netherlands division there. So the next player we've gone for then is Ahmed El Massaroudi of Groningen as well. Another midfielder. Scores wise, brilliant scores as you can see here. Average is also looking good as well in terms of the lower scores there, but is also capable of hitting these high numbers as well, which is going to get you amongst the card rewards as well. So let's have a look at the price for this guy then. A midfielder again, bear in mind, we're usually more expensive. And on the market, you can pick him up. There's a £73 here, £70 there. So absolutely fantastic prices there. So you can probably pick this midfielder up for around £50. So the next player I've gone for is Brian Smeets of Sparta Rotterdam. 28-year-old, first team starter for Sparta Rotterdam. And in terms of scores, he's shown some very good high scores. Look, good average as well. But he's also capable of getting these higher numbers, which is brilliant. So in terms of his price on the market then, let's have a look what he's available for. So the one here for £67, which looks brilliant, 70. So you might be able to pick this guy up for around £50, which looks absolutely brilliant. So the next player is Bart Ramselaar of Utrecht, 24-year-old. Scores wise, as you can see, very capable of getting some really high numbers amongst the 80s. He's got a 90 here as well. But his average is also very good across the games. So it looks a fantastic option again. So in terms of the prices on the market at the time of recording, let's have a look what we're looking at then. So there's one here for 70, which looks really good. So you might be able to get a bid in here for around £60 for this guy. And again, for a midfielder, that looks brilliant. So the last player we've got today is this forward, and that is Quincy Menage of 20. Again, FC20 are a top side. This is a 25-year-old. Showing some really good numbers though here, look, as you can see. Some very good high scores as well. And his averages are looking fantastic over the last 40, last 15 and the last 5 games. So in terms of price, let's have a look what he's going for on the market. Bearing in mind this is a forward, so these are usually the most expensive players on the market. And in this budget category in terms of forwards, it was hard to find some budget ones in the forward category in the Netherlands, Turkish and Portuguese leagues, which is a shame. But this price here of 178 does look very good. And he is only 25-year-old as well, he's only 25. And obviously plays for a top side in FC20. So a player for around, you might be able to get him for around £150 to fill in that forward slot for your Challenger Europe lineup there. So it does look a fantastic option there. So I'm sure you'll agree there's loads of options there for in terms of budget pricing if you are after a budget players for the upcoming season. So these players do look fantastic. So get them on your shortlist. Get some cheeky offers in for some of these guys and let me know how you get on. If you have any thoughts on today's video, then drop them in the comments below. Let me know if you purchased any of these players or if you've got an eye on any of these players I've suggested today. And don't forget to report back to me on your success using these players. You can always drop them in the comments below and come back to the video if you didn't want to do that. If you enjoyed this video, then please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel as well so you don't miss any future scouting videos like this. And don't forget to ping that notification bell to be informed about any new videos. You can also follow me on Twitter at Sorare Assist and now Instagram and Facebook as well. Also check out my free website sorareassist.com where you can get free Sorare resources. Links are in the description below. There's also a link to Sorare if you're not signed up to yet and wish to do that to get your free rare cards to get you off to a good start. Okay, that's it from me today. I'll hopefully see you again in the next video. Bye for now.